Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining this abridged meeting of the Capital Planning Committee. Today is Friday, October 30th. It's a little after 4:09 p.m. and we're here to review the amendment of the prioritization list. And I'd like to turn it over to our Police Chief Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you today?
Very good. Thank you all for your willingness to meet this afternoon on Friday afternoon at 4. I'll try and be brief. So in December of 2019, I submitted our fiscal year 21 capital budget request, which included 3 marked cars, 1 unmarked vehicle, and some funds for costs associated with the installation of computer equipment and mounts. So it's my understanding that capital planning met recently. There was a recommendation to consider the 3 marked vehicles and not the unmarked vehicle, which I understand completely. So while preparing to do our fiscal year 22 capital budget request, started looking at our patrol fleet inventory, specifically the year, the mileage on the vehicles, and the repair and maintenance history of each one of them. I believe that this is certainly one year that the department could get away with 2 marked cars instead of having the 3rd, therefore shifting our priority to, which would be much more important for us anyway, is to replace one of our older aging unmarked vehicles, which is a 2011 with 92,000 miles on it. It does have the repair and maintenance history is worsening as we speak. It's something that I'm really looking to move on from. So therefore shifting the priority then to 2 marked vehicles, 1 marked Dodge Charger, 1 marked Dodge Durango, and then the 3rd one being the unmarked Dodge Durango. The total cost, so I just received updated quotes from MHQ, which is who we use to do business. It's about 2 weeks old now, but the total cost of those 3 vehicles is $148,000 instead of the $152,000 that I originally requested for the 3 marked. So it's a little bit less money, which is good. That's always good. But then in addition to that, I would still, request the $4,000 in funding for the costs associated with the computer mounts and equipment. So as far as the reason for the lower costs, I think one thing that we looked at was in the past, when we buy Dodge Chargers, we've been buying them with a Hemi engine. This year, we're getting it with a 6-cylinder, so there's a cost difference of approximately $2,900. In addition to that, although the marked Durangos have increased in price by approximately $2,000 or $2,500, the unmarked Dodge Durango happens to be just about $11,000 less in pricing than the marked, which that's a substantial cost difference, but so the long and short of it is it would cost about $4,000 less than what was recently recommended by Capital.
Thank you, Chief Sullivan. Do we have any questions on the updated request from the police department?
Just real quick, Chief, how many of the total fleet are the unmarked detective vehicles versus like marked cruisers?
Sure. We have 2 unmarked vehicles that the town owns outright. And then we also lease a 3rd vehicle. So there's a total of 3.
Okay. And this would be replacing one of the ones that the town owns?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Chief Sullivan?
No, I don't have an issue with it.
Neither do I. Thank you, Chief Sullivan, for your time. We will reprioritize your request and make sure it gets to the proper areas in town.
Thank you all very much.
Okay.
You have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, after hearing the chief's request, I'd like to make a motion to amend the police department's request for one marked detective vehicle from deferred to priority at 4, and to amend the request amount from 42,000 to 44,800 to reflect updated pricing. But I believe that pricing just changed. Is that correct, Wendy, or based on what you just said?
It seemed like it was different, but if we could do the 44.8,
Okay,
that'll work.
so
I would
May-
second that motion.
thank you. And I'm going to do a roll call. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes?
McCarthy,
Yes.
you second, so that was yes. Healy
Healy, yes.
and Bloomwald is also yes, so that's unanimous.
Thank you.
So as we just discussed, I believe based on our current rankings, we have the police vehicles at 4. And I would recommend that we make a dual 4 between the marked police car, 2 marked police cars, and the unmarked.
Yes.
Any comments, questions on that ranking?
Just as a technical question, are you also going to vote to bump the 3 down to 2?
Yes.
Okay,
That would be the next part of the motion, I guess.
gotcha.
Well, since you just made it, would you like to do that?
Yeah,
Yep.
so moved.
All those in favor? Or do we need to I probably need to word that a little differently.
Okay, I move to change the recommendation of 3 marked police vehicles to a recommendation of 2 marked police vehicles.
I have a second for that.
I will second that.
All right, and I'll do a roll call. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes?
McCarthy,
Yes.
Healy,
Healy, yes.
and Bloomwald, yes. So that's unanimous. And I think I'm sorry, Wendy, I didn't write down the actual amount. I think we need to, based on the current actual amount. Let's see.
I have a dollar amount of 111,400.
Thank you. All right, just wanted to validate. So I would like to make a motion to amend the recommending funding of the police cruisers in the amount of 156,000 to 2 marked cruises in the amount of 111,400, which reflects updated pricing.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I'd like to take a vote then. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes?
McCarthy,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
and Bloomwald's yes. All right, so based on everything else, I believe if we're all okay with the ranking at 4, the dual rankings for the marked and unmarked.
Yep.
I believe that's the end of business unless anyone has any new items or other areas we need to bring up on this abbreviated meeting.
I'm all set.
Okay, seeing none,
I'm
I'm
all
looking
set.
for, go ahead.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Oh, shoot.
Aye. Yeah, roll call.
Roll call, sorry. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes.
McCarthy,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
and Bloomwald, yes.
Very good.
All righty, everybody have a
Thank
safe
you all.
weekend.
Be well.
Happy Friday and happy
Thank
Halloween.
you.
All right,
too.
take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.